See. Come. Lordship, humble prayer to your Lordship before going on merit of the case to explore the possibility of the settlement between the parties. The petitioner is not present here.
Have you spoken to him? We will have it next week. You are there. Is any objection for mediation?
Yeah.
Mediation.
All right.
You wanted to appear through video conference.
Well, as Mr. Johar is on VC.
Yes.
This is a transfer petition. I am for the husband, my lords. The allegations of rape have been made, your lordship may see, by the wife. In paragraph B of the transfer petition, the police has filed a charge sheet exonerating the husband and the father-in-law, my lords. And I just wanted to mention that, my lords, such a grave allegations were made. The FIR was there, charge sheet has been filed by the police. And now she is wanting my divorce petition to be transferred from Calcutta. And we were together studying in MBA in Narsi.
Where is he residing now?
Yes, my lords, she is residing
in Gurgaon, my lords.
now she is residing in Gurgaon.
We will grant you liberty to appear through video conference.
My lords, the only thing is, my lords, may just see the charge sheet, which I have been exonerated. My father-in-law, my lord, she filed 354 also.
Obliged.
Please, Your Lordship. Lordship, I appeal for the respondent. This matter was sent for mediation.
Mediation has failed.
Yes,
Mediation
Lordship,
has
but
failed.
I would still request that if it could be referred to another mediator, Lordship. I mean,
My lords, mediation will not work because both of them, one proper session they had, it did not work at all. There is no concrete offer. They can always do it through video conferencing at Vadodara. She has filed prior cases at Vadodara, 2 cases. He has filed it as a counterblast restitution petition in Patna.
it's a section 9
She
petition.
is not waiting for mediation, so what can we do? Hello,
Grateful.
video conference.
It's a beg to before the petitioner wife. Lords, I'm seeking transfer of the divorce proceedings from Gujarat to Gwalior. Lords, from Gujarat to Gwalior. Lords, 3 proceedings are already pending before the Gwalior trial court.
My
And
lords,
the petitioner is residing with his father at Gwalior.
my lords, my humble submission is that she is not residing in Gwalior. She is right now based in Noida, working in Noida.
Have you filed an affidavit that?
My lords, I have filed a reply and I have annexed her job profile as
Please
my
have my
annex.
rejoinder, my lords. Page 9. I have filed the proof. Obliged.
My lords.
You appear through video conference.
My lords, earlier in her transfer petition, she had claimed that she is not working at all and is dependent on me.
She is working through online.
Yes, ma'am.
Nowadays, a person
My lords, her,
residing in Cochin can work at Delhi or Noida.
I apologize. Grateful, my lord.
Lord, this matter stands settled, my lord. Only the
Please.
settlement deed is to be filed, my lord. It's settled.
After vacation.
Yes, my lord. We'll file appropriate application.
After vacation for pressing on record. The settlement deed.
Great.
Your place. Yes, Mr. Attorney.
It's a privilege and a pleasure to greet every judge. Sometimes with a too much of a sad heart to give a farewell. Anyway, beneath the gentle demeanor and the disarming smile lies your tough justice doing mind. In the great tradition of judges, you stand with your equal treatment of all who stood before you. None walked out of your court with a shrug of their shoulders. Every day on the bench, you brought the same vigor and freshness of doing justice. As attentive and concerned you were to the COVID-related measures to be undertaken by the state government while you had a bench in the Gujarat High Court, you were as clear as moonshine that institutional integrity at all levels of governance is fundamental. I find that promotion of institutional integrity ran like a sound mantra in many of your opinions and your judgments. In the field of criminal law, I see it reflected very much. Clarity on principles, alertness to needless distinctions on facts, you found the middle paths very easily. The concerns expressed by you in the Janhit Abhiyan case and the undoubted need and the possibility of moving towards an egalitarian society are in the true symbiotic connection with your spiritual values and pursuits. Not many do know that your spiritual practices give you the strength of being what you are. Sri Ramana Maharishi, Sri Aurobindo, and the Divine Mother, the architect of Auroville in Pondicherry, do deeply inform your mind that you remain unruffled as ever. Like all women judges who have, from Justice Fatima Bibi onwards, who have adorned this court, you do bear a similar tough mind interior. Beneath the gentleness you wear. Maybe more women judges here will make this court very different. And I thought in my own little imperfect Gujarati pronunciation, I may add a few things before closing my.
You can leave it for the solicitor.
Yes.
He asked me that don't laugh at my pronunciation. I have not written, so if there is somebody else made a mistake, I am not aware.
I hope the court will forgive me, miss you. I think two of them seem to be very close to your heart. Satya Satya che, samay sathe tenu mahutva vade che. Two, nyaye dharam che, ane dharam vina raji aduru che. I suppose these values run deeply in your mind. We're going to miss you.
Thank you, sir.
Please, your leadership, Lord, several memories come to mind because we had me and Mr. Raju and Mr. Pahwa had the opportunity to appear before your leadership in Gujarat High Court, in Delhi High Court, etc., etc. And therefore, several memories come to mind. But there are certain essential characteristics which remains embedded in our mind. One of them is that your leadership has never attempted to mold the relief to suit the popular sentiment, which is a rare thing, and you have maintained that, be it in Gujarat, be it in Rajasthan, or be it in the Supreme Court of India. This needs courage of conviction, courage to displease people. And I can say, I have lost most of the matters in Gujarat and here before your leadership, but our respect can never depend upon the relief which we get or relief which is refused. All honorable judges on the bench, as well as me and others, we come from the high courts, and that's the training, my lord, which we have, that our respect and love for the judge is not contingent upon the relief being granted in my favor or not granted in my favor. Lord, in every court, your leadership has gone. There is one common thread in every court, which is always available, and all of us know that there are certain individuals who feel that my word should be the last word in law. That never happened in your leadership's court. The last word was the word of law and word of constitution, even at the expense of displeasing some people. I'm sure your leadership would not work more. Your leadership is more spiritual than religious. But I would request your leadership that your leadership services to the nation should continue till the health permits and God permits. And lastly, Lord, your father and especially your late mother would really feel proud of today. And I can share this incident with my Lord and with everyone else. I met her ladyship's mother only once. Thereafter, after almost 7 years, I had to call on a landline phone to wish her ladyship. Her mother was so sharp, she picked up the phone. I said, hello? He said, yes, Tushar, bolo. I said, do you still remember me? Look, I remember your voice also. That was the only, these are the only two instances where I had an interaction. but an amazing lady, and she would really be showering her choicest blessings to your ladyship.
Thank you so much.
In this court really is a constellation of stars, and you're one of them. Just think about it. You're the 10th lady judge of this court. In 17 years, 75 years of this country, it means one lady judge was appointed every 7 odd years. That itself is a great milestone. It is reflective of your erudition, of the fact that you were picked up to come to this court. It's a rare privilege that you have. But in this constellation of courts, you have the diversity of India reflected here. And that's the beauty of this court, because you come from different regions, different places, different thoughts, different perceptions, different ideological leanings. That's all part of the judicial delivery system. And that's what this court makes great, makes it so great. One incident I want to also reflect upon and tell you about it. I remember going to, in court 5, I think it was, that there was a person who was being prosecuted under the UAPA. And we wanted to move him from Karnataka to Kerala. And the verdict went against me. It's an issue of bail. So I just said out of hunch, I said, I expected your ladyship at least to have some empathy. And your ladyship said, you don't know me then. Well, we knew you before you came here. And we'll know you after you leave here. But thank you very much for all that you've done. And I endorse what the learned solicitor said. It's not about, I don't think any judge of this court bows down to popular sentiment. And if he does, then that's completely unacceptable. And I believe that no judge does that. But you have drawn the lines. I don't think my learned friend is right that you don't mold the relief. You do, but you do it on the right side of justice. And that's great. So we wish you all the best. Good tidings. I'm sure that the time will come that you will be showered with responsibilities to serve the nation, and all the best, and God bless you.
I can see there are many speakers. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Please go ahead.
Vice President. and so far the lone voice from the other gender.
Above all, lady, my lord, she is
Linda has the first privilege, yes.
lady also. Yes. Today is a
As I
special
can
day.
see, there are many speakers on
Yes, yes.
that side.
We have no time to spend.
I'll keep it short. But your ladyship, we admire your grit. We admire your determination. We admire your courage. You stood by what you thought was correct, never gave it in. But though you had been strict many times, but when we pointed it out to you, you did accede to our request, and what you did is well known to everyone. Your Lordship, the presence of so many ladies in this courtroom is testament to that we all stand by you, and you are an inspiration for all the members, lady members who are present in this court. So continue to inspire us. Wishing you a very happy retirement. Thank you so much. Few words. Thank you.
Honorable the Chief Justice, Ladyship, Justice Bela Trivedi, Justice Masih. Today we gather here to bid farewell to a towering and eminent judge of this honorable court. This is a moment filled with gratitude, admiration, and emotion, dedicated to upholding justice, fairness, and values. I know her ladyship from the days of my practice in Gujarat High Court. When her ladyship was a lawyer, we have opposed one another in a few matters. Thereafter, her ladyship was appointed as a judge of the City Civil Court, Ahmedabad. There also, her performance was stellar performance. I remember a matter which I argued in the Supreme Court, which was a matter between two senior police officers. Her ladyship had given a judgment and she had quashed the proceedings. Her ladyship held in those days that the order issuing process was a revisable order under the CRPC. The High Court differed with her ladyship, but ultimately it came up in this honorable court. Justice Thomas endorsed her views, and her name is mentioned in the judgment also. So from those days in 2000, her ladyship left a mark that she is Supreme Court material. It was right in 2000. Then as far as the ladyship is concerned, I must tell that she's a very simple person. Simplicity is writ large as far as she is concerned. She's down to earth, unassuming, honest to the core. Her focus in judgments are nation, institution. She cares a lot about the institution and justice. She has rendered service to the nation. I wish her all the joy, happiness, health, and a very happy future. Thank you.
May it please your ladyship. Every sister assembled in this court hall and every sister who is watching it all over, you will remain a very shining example to showcase to them and get inspired. Hard work, sincerity, grit, honesty under our constitutional scheme can make one rise from a city civil judge to the highest court. And every lady will be inspired with this, and you will be the front runner to most of them in the years to come. And that's a great, reading your scale of graph of growth as a judicial officer. You also had the opportunity to serve the government in the executive side as the head of the law affairs for 3 full years. It's a combination which is very rare and inspiring. 2, your leadership brought the subtle yet the clear distinction between a judge who needs to be firm, distinguishing from being inflexible. Firmness is part of the judicial institution's mandatory choice and not inflexibility. This distinction, your lordships has voiced it on several occasions through your judgments. And last, I leave with this. At 3:45, when about 6 councils on the other side and for a government on a competition commission matter, we are all sitting to start. We are all wondering, at 3:45, your lordship will be inclined to say, we'll have it some other day. What stunned us was, it is a very nuanced law, not tried or tested every day as a bail or a civil matter or another constitutional issue is concerned. We just spoke 2 sentences. This is a case where you want to bring the distinction between an anti-competitive agreement and an anti-abuse between section 3 and 4. It has stunned us even today. Not that when you open up and you do a matter, doing it is different. But to say that as the first sentence, even before somebody starts, it's inspiring to show how this institution brings the high capacity building of a learned judge in delivering the greatest judgments of this court. And you will have added many to this choice. Deeply appreciated.
My Lord, may I have the pleasure of addressing your lordships, Lords? Lords, I might say that I have seen your ladyship from some time back, Lords, and even outside the courts, Lords. And in fact, at the Gujarat National Law School University where we sat, Lords, 3 things, Lords, I wish to say. This narrative that your ladyship has done for the court and for, Lords, the ladies in general. I stand and represent not only the ladies in the bar, because that would not be a true representation. It is for the entire bar. But yes, this section, Lords, in particular, Lords, appreciates the narrative change that your ladyship has done from man to woman, from man with woman, my lords. And that, I think, is what we are looking forward for your ladyship. As the learned solicitor, my lords, rightly said, we will look forward to your serving the nation, my lords, as you've always done, and to your continuing services, my lords. But I might say that while, my lords, everybody thinks and been saying, my lords, also whether judgments are for or against, I have, my lords, been fortunate. I've had a number of judgments in favor, but nonetheless, my lords, the issue is not that. Your ladyship decides without fear or favor. And that within the constitutional limits, within the constitution of Article 136, not as a court of appeal. And I've seen your ladyship with empathy. You spend 1 hour etching out a consent order. And what you will be remembered for is by the child, by the parents and by that family, my lords. I look forward with your graciousness, and may this trend in this court, my lords, continue. May we have more and more diversity, my lords, along all lines. Thank you very much.
My Lord, the Chief Justice, my Lord Justice Trivedi, my Lord Justice Masih, my Lord's illustrious professional career, we have all seen, my Lords, and it's a testament to the fact that by sheer hard work and resilience, one can reach the zenith. And to all, I will not say it's just the women members, but all of us are inspired by your hard work, your courage, your grit. The way I see it, there is no a male judge or a woman judge here when you sit there. And that showed in your judgments, that showed when you held on to the first principles of law. Thank you, my lords, for being there, for inspiring us. And we all wish you a very happy, healthy life ahead, my lords.
May I
Ladyship
have-
has,
May I have a few words? Honorable the Chief Justice, Justice Trivedi. Justice, no, I'm okay here. So Justice Trivedi, you brought a wealth of your experience, beginning from the trial courts to the High Court and then to this court. And that reflected very often in the court, in what you said and how you would want also the people to be more professional and in this particular court. The other thing that always comes to my mind, and I say this with humility, with a great deal of respect, it takes a lot of courage to stand up for your convictions and for your beliefs. And you showed that courage, because if you believed the things were to be done in a particular manner, you stood for those values, you stood for those convictions, and charted your own path in that process of your being here, including in the High Court. Lastly, as my learned colleague just said, there is nothing like a male judge or a female judge or a lady judge in this court. I remember the words of Justice Claire Dubé, and I would say this for all of us here. We don't come here to take advantage because we are women, but we come as equals. And you have said that, and this is when Justice Dubé said, and it was asked of her, how would you like yourself to be addressed in the court? Madam Justice Claire Dubé? She says, no, I'm a judge like any other justice, and it has to be just Justice Dubé. And I think you established that there is no distinction here. We come here for our merits. We want to be treated here for our merits, treated at par with all our colleagues. Thank you so much, Justice Trivedi. Thank you.
Ladyship, it has been a pleasure to appear before your Ladyship. I've had most judgments against me, but it's still been a great pleasure to appear, because while you were firm, it was always a stick behind that smile that Ladyship bore all the time. So it has been a very, very pleasant journey, and may your Ladyship's further journey be even more joyful than what was over here, your Ladyship. Most grateful for your Ladyship's presence here.
May I say a few words? But, everybody has said whatever I've been wanting to say in this court. Your Lordship will be remembered for doing what your Lordship thought it fit and correct for the bar and the institution and the country, as it was said by earlier speakers also. What I always remember is your humility. Whenever we went to invite you for a function or any gathering, your Lordships will stand up. When we are also standing up and talking, your Lordship will also stand up and talk to us. That is something it impressed all of us. And your Lordship has been a very inspiring personality. When we called you for the recent designation of the women lawyers of this Honorable Court, your Lordships came and gave a very beautiful and a humble speech and inspired all the women over there. We will all remember this, and we feel that your disciplined routine and integrity and honesty will always stay with us in our memories. We wish you a very, very happy next innings.
If I may, Ladyship, if I may. Firstly, whichever way the matter went, we were always rewarded with a smile on the way out. Secondly, wherever the hammer fell, it fell evenly. And thirdly, I do hope you'll remember your friends and well-wishers in this court after this.
Lordship, saying goodbye to you is the saddest thing for me. I thank you for your yeoman service rendered to us, and you are an embodiment of strength and courage, and you have administered justice without fear or favor. Having said that, I wish you all the best. And on behalf of the Supreme Court Women Lawyers Association, I wish you a prosperous and a very healthy future ahead. My lords, may I take Justice Gawai's, Lordship Gawai's moment. Lordship, we have only 1% on the bench now. Now it's high time your Lordship sends many of my sisters to various high courts.
You like to address when I host in a combination.
I'll do that, but please remember to elevate most of us, Lordship.
Us.
My sisters, Lordship.
It's a Freudian slip, my lord. It came out naturally.
Most of us will remember many matters went against us, but still your lordship will firmly, but with a very smiling face will say no, and that's it. But your lordship always told us to keep persuading the court and not to stop it.
My lords, I just want to pay my salute to a very firm, very fearless, very honest judge of this court, and who was very kind to me in my time of grief and told me to stand up and keep working, and told me a few things about spirituality. I'm so grateful. The nation is indebted to you, lordships. Thank you.
But I won't take much time except to say that I think today your lordships have been most awkward sitting in court. So many praises for your lordship not in the habit of receiving them. Whenever we tried to say something, you said, no, it's my duty. Please don't praise me. I have to do this work, my lord. Only thing is taking from Mr. Sibbal's Elizabeth I in a battle in Tilbury in 1588 said, I may have the form of a woman, but the heart and stomach of a man. And that applies to your lordships. Grateful, my lord.
Lordships, I always ensure to call lordship and not ladyship because I believe in what my learned friends have said, that lordship sitting there, first we don't address one, we always address the bench, and it is not the gender. Lordship has literally defined that when anyone sitting over there is beyond gender. Lordship, I want to recollect when Lordship has come here, we all have faced the life in COVID, which was unprecedented, and every one of us feels a life was fresh start post-COVID. For me and for many of us in the Supreme Court as the bar, we were sitting at home and doing it. One fine day, we were called by the bench that we should come physically. And I think we were only 7 members who came physically to the Supreme Court. And I was fortunate enough to appear before the bench where Lordship was sitting. Lordship, that was a great learning experience for me when I argued the criminal appeal over there. Lordship's questions were what telling me that how I should argue the case. And it was a great learning experience, Lordship. And that is where saying goodbye is definitely not easy because a phase of life which started post-COVID is going to end in a way I'm feeling. I know life will move on. Lordship will have much better and healthy life. And we may look forward to have more service to the nation. But Lordship has defined that how one must stand with one's conviction. And journey is not where we reach. Just it's personal, I want to share. Journey is not where we reach. Journey is from where we start. And that is where Lordship is inspiration for not only we women standing in the courtroom, for everyone sitting in the district court here would be inspired and would look forward to the inspirational moment with Lordship. Thank you.
Ladyship, seeking your indulgence. Just an incident to narrate, because contrary or very popularly believed, ladyship would always be firm and not budge with what ladyship finally held. But in one particular instance, which involved a member of the bar, ladyship passed an order and it was pretty firm on the member of the bar, but the entire bar was there requesting ladyship. And after a fairly long hearing, ladyship reversed the very order ladyship passed during the court proceeding. So, in fact, acknowledging the role of the bar, and we are very grateful for that. The rest, of course, my colleagues have already shared in great detail. Grateful for that also, ladyship.
May it please, my lords. My lords, it was always a great learning experience appearing before my lords. My lords, it was like appearing before a strict grandmother. My lords, we had to toil hard in the night, my lords, just to prepare ourselves, just like we prepared for an exam. And it felt very good when we got a notice as if we passed the exam with flying colors. My lords, wishing my lords all the best. We'll always remember my lords, grandmotherly figure who's calm and kind and always smiling.
But on the same note,
grateful, my lords.
on the
Wishing
same
all
note,
the
with my lord's
healthy life.
Chief Justice's permission, my lords, my first interaction with your ladyship, my lords, was online. My ladyship was sitting with Justice Khanna. And because just taking a cue from my learned friend. And during COVID times, because we were at home and conducting the hearings, and my daughter was sitting next to me while we were conducting the hearing, and exactly the same thing. My daughter responded that the judge looks like my grandmother. So, Miloj, the submission here is, Miloj, your leadership will inspire not just this generation, but the next generation of lady lawyers and other lawyers, Miloj. And Miloj, our compliments to you, Miloj, for your lordship's career. And Miloj, we wish you well and happy many compliments for the birthday in advance as well.
Thank you, sir. With your permission, my lords.
Go ahead, please.
With your permission, my lords. My lords, I had the rare distinction of appearing before your lordships while your lordships were there in the City Civil Court, as well as in the High Court and this court, my lords. Your lordships have always been the same, calm and composed, and patiently hearing all the advocates, including junior lawyers, my lords. So we are grateful for that. Your lordships also had the rare distinction of sitting on the bench in the City Civil Court while your father was also a judge at that time. Your lordships is also one of the rarest because it's only been 11 judges in this court who have reached till here as a lady judge, my lords. My lords, more importantly, as AORs, my lords, you have made all of us to take out the practice and procedure books, which we would have kept it on the shelf, and the Supreme Court rules. And we would have ensured that in all matters where we appeared before your lordships, we would have seen the rules and the procedures first and then appeared before your lordships. We wish you all the best, your lordships. Thank you.
Leadership, if I may for a moment. Everyone has spoken about how leadership has been as a judge. I want to point out how spiritually leadership is orbiting on a space that all of us cannot comprehend. Only on leadership said how the leadership has always been punctual. Leadership is missing the last week of court. Leadership said that leadership always had a pride that I never missed a day of court. And today, just to break that pride, a situation has come where I'm not able to be there for the last few working days. Leadership also reminded us how even when you had to take care of your parents, you never missed a day of court. So we will really miss you in the last week, but I think the fact that leadership recognizes recognizes the fact that you're orbiting a different spiritual space from all of us. And not just a woman of substance, a judge of substance.
With your permission, leadership, I think your leadership is one very, very deadly combination of a discerning smile and strictness at the same time. I think that everyone will agree that when your leadership, we went to your court, you may be strict, but with a smile, we all felt, okay, if the matter didn't go in our favor, it's perfectly fine because we felt warm enough to say that, yes, she's seen everything, she's heard us from all angles, and then she smiled and said, dismissed. But having said the leadership, we are very proud to have you here. You're a beacon of hope for all the ladies over here and across the country who aspire to reach this level. We wish you all the best in your coming endeavors, your leadership. We will miss you.
With my Lord's permission, may I say 2 words, my Lord? Lord, I've had the singular pleasure of appearing before my Lord, not only on behalf of the prosecution, but also on behalf of the accused. My Lord, I have noticed one thing in this court, irrespective of the background, the stature of the lawyer, everyone is grilled. Therefore, there is equal opportunity for all. Secondly, my Lord, we all have to up our game when we are appearing before your ladyship, because your ladyship will know what is there in the 799 page of the brief, because your ladyship has read the entire brief cover to cover. Thirdly, your ladyship's ability to go to the nub of the issue and pose very probing questions to both sides, which requires us to be on our feet. My Lord, I'm very grateful. It has been a privilege and honor to appear before your ladyship. And therefore, my Lord, I wish you all the very best, my Lord. And you will continue to inspire a generation of lawyers. I'm deeply grateful.
The learned Attorney General, Pointier, R.A. Raman, the learned Solicitor General, Tushar Mehta, Mr. Kapil Sibal, the President of the SCBA, Rachna Srivastava, the Vice President of SCBA, the law officers, the senior advocates, the family members of the Bela Trivedi, a very dear friend and former Chief Justice of Gujarat High Court, Justice Sonia Gokani, and members of the bar. Today we come together to bid farewell to our colleague, Honorable Justice Bela Trivedi. The journey of Justice Trivedi to this court is indeed a compelling story. Her upbringing in Gujarat was marked by a variety of experiences due to her father's career in the judiciary, which involved frequent transfers. In a job that requires relocation, while there are challenges in settling down, it also offers exposure to the cultures of various cities and towns. I am certain these experiences would have broadened Justice Trivedi's understanding of the diverse challenges people face. Inspired by her father, Justice Trivedi pursued a career in law and practiced for nearly a decade on the civil and constitutional side, the Gujarat High Court. She then applied for high judicial service. A significant chapter in her judicial life commenced with her appointment to the City Civil and Sessions Court in Ahmedabad in 1995. It has a way of writing beautiful stories, and in Justice Trivedi's life, he wrote one such tale where she walked the same courtroom corridors as her father, both serving as judges at the City Civil and Sessions Court at Ahmedabad at the same time. This rare distinction was recognized by the Limca Book of Records, which recorded the entry in their 1996 edition as, I quote, father-daughter judges in the same court. Justice Trivedi's extensive experience in the district judiciary gave her expertise in civil and criminal law, as well as procedural law. As a member of the district judiciary, Justice Trivedi held several important roles. On the judicial side, he served as a CBI judge and as special judge in several cases. Her judicial work was complemented by significant administrative responsibility, including her tenure as Registrar of Vigilance in the Gujarat High Court and as Law Secretary to the Government of Gujarat. In each of these roles, she displayed outstanding legal insight and administrative acumen. These responsibilities demanded a different set of competencies than those required on the judicial side. While adjudication calls for analytical rigor, neutrality, and legal interpretation, administrative roles require strategic planning, policy making, insight, institutional management, and the ability to coordinate across departments, stakeholders. As Registrar of Vigilance at the Gujarat High Court, he was interested with maintaining the integrity of the judicial system, handling sensitive issues with discretion, fairness, and firmness. Her tenure as a law secretary further demonstrated her capacity to engage with complex legal frameworks at the intersection of government and policy. As law secretary, she was instrumental in the establishment of the Gujarat National Law University. Justice Trivedi was elevated to the Gujarat High Court in 2011 and later to the Supreme Court in August 2021. Her elevation to this court is remarkable, as she is presently the only judge in the Supreme Court who rose to the ranks of the district judiciary. This rare journey from the grassroots levels of the judicial system to the apex court serves as an inspiration for many in the district judiciary. Her appointment brought a distinct perspective to the bench. As a judge of the Supreme Court of India, Justice Trivedi has dealt with a wide range of cases, spanning from criminal matters to those heard by Constitution bench. I had the opportunity to share the bench with her during the proceedings of the 7-judge bench, hearing on a significant constitutional question of whether subclassification among scheduled castes is permissible under the Constitution. Justice Trivedi authored the sole dissenting opinion in the case, a reflection of her independence of thought and her ability to express her views without hesitation. As a Supreme Court judge, Justice Trivedi, who served as a visitor to the Gujarat National Law University, an institution she had previously played a key role in establishing. In this capacity, she provided guidance to both faculty and students alike. Justice Trivedi is hardworking, with a keen eye for detail and a commitment to her thoroughly preparing for each case she presides over. A personal note, when her name was doing rounds from January of 2021, I had an occasion to talk to her on several occasions, and then after elevation, I found an elder sister in her, So she only elder to me by a couple of months, but she was always a Bela bin to me. And Ms. Matthews has mentioned about the next week's working. I have been blamed by her for that also. Because since I was to take over, the calendar was finalized by me. And I had received requests from many of the members that the beginning of July is not a right season for the Supreme Court to open up. And therefore, we decided to postpone the vacation by a week and also opening by a week. But by now, on the basis of the practice which has been prevailing for last several years, they had already booked the tickets to go for attending a marriage in the family in the US. And I had to pursue her not to cancel her bookings. And her commitment, I must say that I have seen her personally when her father was ailing. He used to go to Ahmedabad on weekends and come back in the mornings of Monday mornings and attend the court. I've been always saying that the bar and the bench are co-equal partners in the administration of justice. None superior, none inferior. I said the other day when we were soliciting Justice, Chief Justice Khanna, that you put a spoke in one wheel, the entire chariot of the golden chariot of the Supreme Court would come to a standstill. Judges are of different types. There are judges who give relief. There are judges who do not give relief. Judges are ultimately human beings. Everybody has a different position. A judge may be strict or a liberal. And as we openly discuss amongst each others, he used to admit that she's conviction-minded. I used to affirm that I am acquittal-minded. It all, when we are at retreat in Vizag, we had a very, I must express my gratefulness to the former Chief Justice that because of that we could all be together as a family. And therefore, I'm grateful to Mr. Kapil Sibal and Rachna Srivastava that both of them are here. But the association, the stand taken by the association, I must deprecate openly because I believe in being plain and straight. On such occasions, such a stand ought not to have been taken by the association, and therefore I'm openly appreciating Mr. Sibal and Mr. Srivastava that in spite of the resolution of the body, they are here. But what has been lost by the association, the presence of the full house here, fully vindicates, and the verdict is given that she is a very, very good judge. As I already said, there are different types of judges, but that should not be a factor for denying what ought to have been done at 4:30 p.m. today. She will always be known for a fairness, a firmness, fearlessness, hard work, devotion, dedication, industry, integrity, and as mentioned by some of us, her spirituality, her humility. On this behalf, on behalf of all my brothers and sisters, Justice Bela bin, your valuable, invaluable experience at various levels of the judiciary and your astute administrative acumen reflects your dynamic personality. As you embark upon a new chapter in your life, on behalf of all the judges and also the members of the bar, I wish you a long, healthy, joyful, and fulfilling life in the years that lie ahead. May this new chapter afford you the quiet joys of ample time with your cherished family and the liberty to pursue long-held personal interests with renewed vigor. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
1 minute.
So sorry.
Well, hearing every one of you on this occasion, in fact, I would like to take you back when I first met her, and she would remember that, maybe the others don't know it. I was the Chief Justice of the Rajasthan High Court, and she happened to be there. And it is then, for the first time, I met her. And whatever you have said, about her firmness, clarity, bold stand, clear thinking, and above all, sharing what she felt. That was so remarkable, and that actually affected me the most. When you meet a person for the first time, yes, over a period of time, you get to know much more, but the first impression goes by that. And I must say that impression of mine continues, and I'm sure it will continue for all times to come. The other side of us, the human aspect, and the love and affection which a senior sister or a person who would actually be a guide to you, I experienced here. Over the last 1.5 years where I have been here, it's been amazing. It's something which is personal, except for expressing it in a few words. Rest of the things, in fact, are which cannot be expressed, and it's only to be felt. Strangely enough, it has already been expressed by the chief. But I'm sorry, but I must say that. Shouldn't be saying it, but traditions need to be followed, and they are to be respected. I'm sure good traditions should continue always. I wish sister all success in life in whatever she has thought of for her future. May God be with her always and a guide to her. Spirituality, we all know about her. And I'm sure she'll be a mentor and a guide for many of us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, everybody. Words are biggest when heart is full. My heart is absolutely full with all satisfaction and contentment. This 30 years of my journey, I have always spoken through my judgments, and I have formed the habit of pronouncing the operative part of the judgments only. So let me pronounce the last operative part of the judgment of this court. Yes, a long journey of 30 years is coming to an end. On 9th June, I have not preponed my retirement. I have to travel abroad, and therefore this will be my last working day. In these 30 years, I had many halts, temporary destinations, working on administrative and judicial side, but my journey continued very smoothly and to the best of my satisfaction. Today, I am fully satisfied and contented because all these years I have listened to the voice of my inner conscience only and nothing else. In the process, I might have taken harsh decisions, but believe me, the paramount consideration was only the interest of the institution and nothing else. Supreme Court of India, as we know, is perceived to be a polyvocal court. We sit in benches and decide the cases depending on the facts and applicable law. But at times, it would also depend on the individual approach of the judge. The judges come from different regions, different high courts, different family background and culture, carrying their own ideology for doing justice. The level of intelligence, the way of thinking would always differ from person to person. This polyvocality is seen as a strength and a challenge. It reflects democratic pluralism and judicial independence. But it has also the tendency of creating uncertainty in the precedents and inconsistencies in the legal doctrines. Nonetheless, what is more important is institutional integrity. Our Supreme Court is a classic example of institutional integrity, which is very important for the national integrity. At the end of my 30 years of judicial journey, I can proudly say that this 75-year-old institution has remained a very trustworthy, effective, and true to its constitutional role, not just in the form, but also in spirit and conduct. I find myself extremely fortunate that I got this opportunity to work in this premier institution, the highest court of the country. The journey I had started as a judge of Civil Court, Civil and Sessions Court, was destined to end here and has ended with utmost satisfaction, for which I shall ever remain indebted to my esteemed parents, my family, my extended family, friends, colleagues, and my court staff members. Last but not the least, I cannot resist mentioning the kind of very kind and humane gesture of Justice Gavai. Yesterday evening at 11:30, he called me and said that, "Beloved, all your guests will come to my chamber after the ceremonial bench is over. Setting aside all protocol, I'll come to you for taking you for guard of honor, and also for the dinner. All guests are invited." This has never happened earlier. Chief Justice have not come for guard of honor earlier. Only very first immediate family members are invited in the dinner, but he is a man who knows the hard emotions of people, and I really appreciate all that. Now, let me end with some humor. My niece was asking me, Bela, what happens on the last day? What is your functions? I said, first ceremonial bench will be there, and then at 1:30, guard of honor. She said, "What is guard of honor?" And she's a doctor, so she would not know. Then I said, they will just give me honor like this, and then make me sit in the car. And then judges will just push the car like this. She said, "Bela Masi, for you, all advocates are going to." The attack doesn't end here. My law clerk was there. He said, no, not only judges, lawyers, the staff members will also come. Thanks so much. It was wonderful, wonderful journey. And I'm thankful to Ahmed for all the good words spoken for me. Thank you.
The regular bench will assemble in 10 minutes.